This is totally impromptu. Hey, everybody. So you'll notice I'm looking two different places, right? There's lots going on here. I just want to say, first of all, welcome to my page. I know that I have some faithful Couch Crew members, aka the supporters of myself here at Couch with Christian and the Daddy Issues movement. Just wanted to say, what's up, y'all? Happy 2022. Okay. The older version of me that was alive just a couple weeks ago when it said, oh my God, I missed all these wellness Wednesdays and the things that I set up to go live regularly. And the thing is, my word of the year is to interrupt. Okay, interrupt is the word of the year for me because what I'm trying to do is stay in the moment, go with the flow. And if I don't go live Wednesday, I'm not sure anybody really cares because you'll catch the live or the replay later, right? So I'm just going to come live whenever I feel like it, which is something I would do anyway. But um, yeah, this is what I'm doing. I know that Instagram has been live with me probably for a couple of minutes by now, and you can see me all over the place. I mean, it's just who I am and what I do. And I wanted to engage and connect with y'all. I have some updates. It's been an interesting week. So let's get started. First of all, if you don't know who I am a licensed therapist here in South Carolina, and I support women who are in recovery from relationship trauma via daddy issues. And normally, oh, hold please, I have my books. So I wrote books about them. Daddy Issues, How to Detangle from the Sins of Our Fathers is my cathartic way to really kind of address my own daddy issues, right? And so what I did was put together a diagnosis based on separation anxiety and reactive attachment disorder. And basically, what I'm trying to do is give people clinical language so that you know how to treat, address, name, call whatever these things are that you're feeling in relation to separation from your father, whether he was present physically or neglectful emotionally, vice versa, whatever version your story is about your relationship with your dad, he does not have to be there to tell a story, right? And so it all impacts us. And what I want to do is give people more words to describe what their daddy issues are, except for I just like old men, or I don't trust people, or I don't do females, or um, I'm not sure why I'm dating if I'm dating the right person, or why I keep attracting the same person, which is what we're going to get into today. So, yeah, I just want people to see women as who are recovering from this emotional trauma, which is what daddy issues is, as something more productive, right? Like I want to give language because we would look at someone who is maybe a survivor of sexual abuse over a long period of time as a child differently if we understood what they were going through. Like we don't call her or victim blame her or him for their trauma. So why do that for someone who is a survivor of daddy issues, which is a relationship emotional trauma? So I'm trying to shift the language, the movement, the purpose of the daddy issues whole just element that I'm trying to build, the movement, the traction I'm trying to do with the daddy issues movement is to, number one, define it so that we have clear language. We know how to treat it. We are decreasing the shame and the stigma, right? All those things, because that is what's going to move us forward to women who are accountable, women who are responsible, and take appropriate moves to address what they need, to identify their needs. So there's a whole bunch that I've talked about over the year and a half past about what I'm trying to do with the daddy issues movement. It is not coming out very articulately today because guess what? Your girl is coming down from NyQuil. Okay. I need y'all to know my household has had COVID the last week. Thankfully, we are okay. I actually have done a lot better on myself than what I thought. I have an autoimmune disease. So I was freaking out about how COVID would ever affect me. And it felt like a flu, common cold kind of thing, right? So the symptoms are dissipating. I have continued to work through it. If I couldn't do it, then I wouldn't. So I saw my clients, and thankfully I have a virtual business. But y'all, take care of yourselves, okay? Take care of yourselves. My family is good. We're a lot better. We are vaccinated, and that is not to say what you should do either way. But all I want to say is that you have to be intentional and be careful about what you're doing and where you're going. I'm pretty sure when my little ones brought it home, and I'm so sorry about that. But I didn't want that to stop the show because I have a mission and thankfully I'm up to it. So thank you for your kind words there on Instagram. I really appreciate it. Our family is good. We're okay. And I hope that your family is good and okay because I do know that there's been lots of loss because of COVID, underlying conditions that we have, like myself. And it was kind of scary, but we're good. So that is one update as to why my I guess posting has been sporadic. I don't know that anyone would notice or care, but that's what I'm really going through right now and coming on the side other side of. So COVID is in our house, but I believe it's on the way out. And hopefully you guys are drinking all your fluids and eating your supplements and taking all the things because it's no joke. We can do what we can to protect ourselves, but when we have a plan, it doesn't always work out, right? Because there are things that I think are just in play that are out of our control. One thing that I do believe is in our control is what we can take responsibility for. And so I want to get into what I wanted to share with you in the first place, and that is this piece about dating the same person. Okay. So I'm a therapist. I talk to people day in and day out. Okay. And a lot of what I've been hearing is the frustration that women have about dating the same person. Why do I attract the same man? Why is it that I went to the other side, quote unquote, and started dating women and they still trifling? I can't win nowhere, right? Hey, Jimmy. So this is what I want to do is answer the question as to why you are dating the same person. Okay. And this is going to be a blog post. If you're on my email list as a new subscriber, you're going to be getting this. So you might want to join my email list. You can go to the link in my bio or go to my website to do so. Let me just give you 3 things that I have in my mind when I'm answering the question as to why are you dating the same person. Now, obviously, being the daddy issues expert, I'm going to tell you it's daddy issues. Spoiler, not a surprise, right? But let me just break it down for you. It's really frustrating when our needs are not met. And so I need you to be able to name this thing for yourself as to why you were in this rinse and repeat cycle of dating the same person. Number 1, let's dive into it. You are comfortable in your situation because trauma is normal to you. Okay, so let's just put it out there. You have grown up, unfortunately, possibly, in an environment where it's normal for you to be cussed out. It's normal for you to probably be in an emotionally verbal situation where you are or emotional or verbally abusive situation where you are told that you are nothing, you're never going to be anything, your needs aren't met, you're ridiculed. You call it maybe playing the dozens from back in slavery, just like in Black History say everything's slavery, right? It goes back to slavery. You may be okay with being talked to a certain way or treated a certain way physically, whatever that looks like, to where that's literally all you know. So when we get into a place where things are like typical and okay, then it's weird. I like to talk about this like a frenemy. Anxiety and depression, post-traumatic stress symptoms, they are like our frenemies. We don't like them. We hate the way this feels. We don't know how to articulate it as children, but we know something is off innately. We get older, we realize after making friends with other people, maybe even watching TV, going to therapy, finding a coach or something that, dang, I really didn't have to accept this kind of behavior from someone. I really didn't have to stay in this situation. And you get to have to, like, you're bombarded with all this new information. And it's just like, well, dang, I didn't think I was allowed to say no or set a boundary or whatever's going on, right? So if it's that your brain or your environment is so normal, including the trauma, that when something easy comes and you don't have to work so hard to be seen and heard, and that you are actually respected and loved and revered and actually put higher on the totem pole, then it's uncomfortable. It's weird when someone actually speaks to you in a respectful way. So, self-sabotage much? This is where this comes in, right? My frenemy, PTSD symptoms, anxiety symptoms, depression symptoms are gone. And now I'm like, oh, I got to get that back because I know how to navigate when my man hits me. I know what it feels like and what to do when I'm called a bitch. I know what to do when my friend abandons me and we just kind of pop off and cuss each other out and then we back to whatever we need to do. Like I know what to do with that. So part of our trauma response is I need to know what's going on. I need to know my exits if I'm somewhere and I'm unsafe, emotional exits and physical exits. But when I'm navigating this new space where I am being respected and I don't know what to do with that, that is weird. Okay, that is uncomfortable for some people, and I want to normalize that. I want you to understand that there is a lots of work to be done, and it's totally possible. It takes practice, like exercising a muscle. But when you are in a space where you are comfortable, it may involve trauma. It may be dysfunctional. It's dysfunctional, but it functions, and you know that. So that would be reason number one that you're probably dating the same person. Just to put it into context, if you're comfortable with trauma, you are knowledgeable and consistent, even if it's inconsistently so, and you know how to navigate the dysfunction and it's not there anymore, i.e., the negative or unhealthy relationship, then it's weird. And then you start to do things like kick up the drama because you at least know what to do and what to say. You real good at cussing somebody out, okay? But not so good at saying, I feel disrespected when. You know what I'm saying? Like we may not use our I feel statements, and that feels weird. It feels out of control, and our trauma kicks in. It says, this is weird. It's not safe, right? Because your brain has literally developed a certain way and therefore it needs to navigate in a certain space. And when you throw something different at it, anything that threatens the norm, which is safe, even if again it is unhealthy and traumatic, that's weird. So reason number one that you're dating the same person is because you are stuck to be in the traumatic space and you just don't know how to navigate anything quote unquote normal. How do we break out of that? I will tell you how in a little bit. The next reason I have here is that comfort can be boring. And that's actually a legit quote from someone I spoke to this week, where someone told me that she has an opportunity to be in a space where she is respected and, can have the white picket fence and the house and the 2.5 kids and the dog and things, but it feels boring. This is kind of a piggyback off of the first point where my trauma informs what I do, right? I like to call that the trauma template. It informs how I react, how I connect, how I interact with people, if I interact, what I do. Do I cope? Do I cope in a healthy way? All that stuff informed by what you know you needed at the time, which are likely undated messages from when you were a kid. Okay. So being safe is boring. And you keep telling yourself, I'm bored. I need quote unquote excitement, right? All that is connected. All of that goes back to the fact that you have experienced certain trauma that told you that this is where I need to be to feel safe, to feel normal, to feel like I have dominance and I can actually be in a space where I know how to navigate this thing. And then you call it boring. I don't know that it's just boring. I'm going to challenge you to dig a little bit deeper and call it really what it is. My guess would be that I don't know what to do with safe. I feel weird when it's safe, right? And so let's try to expand that lens, that knowledge that we have of our traumatic experiences, of our trauma responses, and talk about what that looks like, right? The next reason I want to give you as to why you are dating the same person is because your blinders are on based on what I just mentioned, the trauma template. So I do hear a lot about why do I attract the same person? Right? And so, yes, Devine, trauma makes you feel risky. It's just like you take risk, whether that be financially or sexually or emotionally, and it's threatening, right? And so if your safety is threatened and you're taking the risk of maybe dating the safe quote unquote person, then it's not going to feel right. You're not going to know what to do with that. So if I one of the things I like to say when people are telling me that they are attracting the same person is that we have to take off the blinders, the trauma template by which we have been living that tells us that we have a ceiling, that there is a limit to where we can go. We got to be able to take that and look beyond, because let's think if we love Rocky Road ice cream, right? Like I love Rocky Road ice cream. It's like the best in the world to me. So if I feel like that is the best in the ceiling and I have a poverty mentality and it's like, well, I don't think I'll ever be able to taste the sweetness of Rocky Road ice cream because all I know is sherbet. You know what I'm saying? Like you may like sherbet, no offense to you, but that's not the move. To me, that's not necessarily the caviar of ice cream. But if you've been tasting sherbet all your life and you settle for the sherbet, you ain't never gonna know whether or not there is the sweetness of the Rocky Road ice cream. So therefore, if you living by your trauma template, the sherbet, where you have said, I'm never going to be able to find someone who is respectful. I don't even know what that feels like. I can't even describe what peace feels like in a relationship. I can't even describe what that looks like. I can't navigate it based on what I was saying a little bit earlier. If I had been eating sherbet my whole life, then there is no way I can imagine eating the sweetness of a Rocky Road ice cream. You know what I'm saying? And so, if we're going to talk about why we're dating the same person, and why you are attracting quote unquote the same person, is likely because your blinders are on because you have to live in tunnel vision in order to feel safe, right? Perhaps you navigate a certain way and decide not to look up, down, right, or left because you know that looking anywhere beyond that is going to be hurtful to what you know to be true and safe. Even if that means you are eating sherbet, you are settling for the person who is not treating you with respect because, again, you know how to navigate that. The root and the cause. Let me know in the comments in the chats. I see you guys are popping in and out. I want to know what your thoughts are. What is it that is the common theme between the reason why you are dating the same person? People date the same person because they are the same person. Ooh, Brent. Hey, Uncle Brent, in my live on Instagram. I would love for you to elaborate on that. Somebody come up in here and give us some tea and some insight on that. I love the way you put that because what I want to say is, just to piggyback back off of this point, people are dating the same person because they are the same person. The way that I see that is you are the vessel for the trauma. Unfortunately, you have been informed by your experiences. Again, the trauma template is real, it is evident, it is very present. And for whatever reason, the poverty mentality, the things you were told and internalized and said that you couldn't make it, you actually start to believe those things, then you are only seeing through a lens that is broken. The brokenness is attracted to brokenness, is another way someone put that. Thank you, Davine. So if you can't necessarily get to a relationship that is healthy, and maybe because you have never experienced it, you've never seen it. And let's see, I have someone in here, Tiara, saying, like you said, this normal. I don't know why I can't have anything better because I've never seen it. So this is the point, right? I've never seen it. I've never experienced the healthy relationship. I don't know what that looks like because the trauma has blinded me and stunted me. Period. And whether or not you deal with this because you believe you can't do it, because you've been told maybe possibly all your life that you are not allowed to deal with it, you can't, you're not equipped to, then that makes sense. Maybe you don't want to because you open up the floodgates and you're so nervous about what would happen if I were to open up Pandora's box. Can I deal with all the things that will come? I said I would never let this person hurt me again. I would never feel that pain again. I don't want to go back there. I don't want to feel the abandonment and the rejection or the smallness I feel that triggers my daddy issues when daddy was there and he wasn't there, or he was inconsistent and he showed up kind of when he felt like it, and I'm back to performing and trying to do the perfectionism thing and be where I'm seen so that maybe I can attract who you are so that I can feel like I'm full. So many different stories, right? And I'm hoping that is making sense to you. These points all come down to the fact that there is a trauma blinder on, a lens through which you are living and interacting with people because you don't know any better. And I just want to say that there is definitely ways for you to get around that. People like myself help people do that every day. It is a process. It is slower for some because there are just so many people who are hanging on to their experience because they know how to navigate it. Anything that is new, again, is a threat. I realize, me as a therapist, when I'm in session with people, that the very things that I may say are threatening to your reality. It's nothing that I really intend to do in order to be a jerk. But I understand if somebody was to come up here and tell you that you need to leave your partner, which I would never say in therapy. I may like present the options and let you make that decision. But if that is something that you're hearing when you're talking to a therapist, then of course it's going to be like, oh, I don't know if this is the move, right? I'm not really sure. I want to get into these comments here. I have someone saying that Tiara saying to agree with Brent. When I started healing, I was no longer the same person and stopped dating the same person and closed doors on the same guy. Because you change, right? When you get the help, when you are where you want to be and you're making the progress because you've taken off the trauma template, you're going to be a changed person. So you move different, right? When you make that change, when you come out of the poverty mentality and actually see that you can go above the ceiling. And then everyone has their own view, their reality. And once they are comfortable with themselves, they say, in that decision zone, if what you know is limited, then so are your decisions. If you don't know that there's better out there for you, thank you, Uncle Brent, then you're not going to go out there and go for it. You're not even going to feel like you deserve the things, right? And I'm just so thankful that you're in here, Uncle Brent, because I have a lot of female followers, women who identify as women, people who identify as women. I'm thankful to have a male's perspective in here because you've lived a lot of life and actually know my dad. And so I'm thankful for your input because I think it's really important for people to understand that it doesn't matter how old you are, what experiences you have, the humanness is what makes us all vulnerable, all susceptible to the pain that we have felt in our traumatic experiences. Period. Okay. How is that painting the picture of your life in your world right now? Now, everything I have here is going to be succinctly put into a message. If you guys want to be on my email list, you can go to the link in my bio here from Instagram, follow my website. You can join the list there. What I have to try to help pace out this information and help you make the moves and give you the tools is in my online course. It's coming up. It's almost done, y'all. I'm really excited. So as I wrap up here, I want to go ahead and tell you how to find it, where to go. The Is It Me? How My Daddy Issues May Be Jacking Up My Relationships is a chance for you to sit and reflect on the things that you may be brave enough to take responsibility for. It is not a space for you to feel guilty, to feel shame, or for me to wag my finger and blame you about anything. I really want to, in this entire Daddy Issues movement, empower you to see the things that you may not see because you're too close or because of your trauma, right? You've decided to put blinders on, tunnel vision, anything outside of what I already know, I'm not with it, right? And so I want you guys to hear me say that the whole purpose of the Is It Me series, this is the first foundational mini course that you're going to be getting, is a chance for you to take it back to the basics. What is actually in your control? That is learning things about the physiology of trauma, your body, right? So I'm getting super nerdy on y'all. I'm taking y'all back to grad school with me, okay? So that you guys know how your body responds to trauma. I'm teaching you about the synapses and the nervous system and the 4 parts of the brain that actually regulate trauma and the fight or flight response. I'm talking about cortisol and hormones. I'm taking y'all back because I want you to know what you have within your realm of control to address your body. That is so important. So as we're talking about, is it me? How my daddy issues are jacking up my relationships. How do you respond when you are in a disagreement with your partner while you're out dating and you're just suffering and hating being the one, the one that's holding the purse while your friends go on the dance floor? What is that response you have? Is it connected to not being chosen and you telling yourself you're not good enough? The next chapter in the course is self-talk. I'm breaking down in a very specific way how you can connect that self-talk to your physical response to things. So we're talking about the body, we're talking about self-talk in a way that hopefully you've never seen before, and the way I break down in my books, actually. But we're talking specifically about relationships so that you can have that lens. And then the last chapter is the inner child, probably my favorite thing. The inner child is super important when it comes to you being the adult that you didn't get when you were a child. Okay. Obviously, this can apply to mommy issues too, right? Whoever raised you, whoever was in your village. I happen to focus on the daddy issue stuff because that's where it was put in my heart back in 2019 when I started writing my books. But I really want you guys to be able to take control of whatever you have going on as far as the lack of knowledge. That's what the course is about. It's self-paced. It is interactive. It's fun because you kind of see my vibe and how I roll. I really hope that if you are ready, then you can take this piece where you can self-pace and have a chance to interact with me live about the course. So I'm hoping to put in some live Zooms kind of coming in about 6 weeks in saying, hey, what y'all think? Let's talk about what came to mind. Let's build a community because this is only the beginning, you guys. I'm super excited. I have done this now for a couple of years where I'm just putting things out there. and seeing how you respond, giving you what you want. I started out with the group based on my book, and that was a lot of fun. But I'm taking the step back and giving you something in pieces that make more sense for you and that you can digest. And so, oh, thank you, Uncle Brent. I definitely will hit you up with a commercial. I appreciate that. So you guys go to the link in my bio, go to my website on the courses tab, and you can find out how to get the course. Right now it's under $100. It's only $97 until the first. One course with me, one session with me is $150. So even the regular price of the course is still less than the actual session with me for therapy. But I do want you guys to know that it's not about the money, but you might as well save it while you get this good old valuable content. Now, let me see what Tiara is saying. She said she heard once that we were looking to change the outcome. So we start with the same guy. We are hoping for the fairy tale. And if the guy changes for me, then I'm finally worth it. Oh, yes. If we are letting other people tell us that we're worth it, whether it's through their actions or what they say to us or us changing the narrative, that's that manipulative piece, that control piece, that's a trauma response in itself. The fact that I think I can change him. Oh, I need to talk about that separately. Thank you, Tara. That's really good. So with that said, y'all, this super random live, haven't gone live in a long time. I'm on everybody else's platform though. I got some podcasts I'm on this month, and this Sunday, y'all check me out here. I'm actually on YouTube for someone else's channel. I'll give you that information. But I have not yet done a live myself because I've been on my own little promo tour on everybody else's stuff. And thank you guys for inviting me on your pages. Share this live. Share my other ones. Go back and get to know me and my content and the other things I've been talking about for the last couple of years. I appreciate you guys. I have a meeting with my business coach in about an hour. So I'm going to go check on the kids who are e-learning right now. I promised them I wouldn't be long. I'm going to go check and make sure they're good. Y'all, thank you for engaging with me. I'm going to holler at y'all later.